Hello and welcome to the December update of 2023. A couple of days late, but let's jump straight in. So for a quick introduction, I have 12 410 watts all black panels. They're at 190 degree bearing, so that's just 10 degrees off south, giving me a total of 4.92 kilowatt P. Uh, they go into a 5 kilowatt Solid string inverter, and this is hooked up to the GivEnergy all-in-one battery and gateway system. I do have a My Energy Eddy, but with the current pricing of import and export, that's actually been disabled. So any export actually does go to export instead of going into the hot water cylinder. But it's still useful for some monitoring systems. So in terms of December, this was the first month I've actually had solar for the entire month, and as you can see, it wasn't the best month ever. This seems to be the same across lots of people. Looking at other people's stats, I would expect, at least going by the PVGIS website, which I'll show on the next slide, I would have expected to average about 4 kilowatts hours a day. Um, I think I actually averaged about 3. Um, as you can see, there are basically 9 days that I hit over 4 kilowatt hours. So yes, pretty poor. So the total was 97.6. Um, and if you look at the PV GIS system, as I've got nothing else to compare against, you can see that it was estimating I should have produced about 126 kilowatt hours. So my actual production was just over 75% of what was estimated. So yes, pretty poor. Um, but I think with the wet weather we had, um, it was slightly warmer than usual, but obviously the cloud cover severely affected the amount of solar we were able to produce. So in terms of costings and savings, I'm on Octopus Go. So that gave me a average of 11.4 pence a kilowatt hour. Um, I managed to export a little bit. This was mostly a forced exports for the DFS that happened for 6 times, I think, during December. And then, as you can see, the standing charge for the month is actually half of my actual usage bill. So, that 50p a day is really quite cutting into the bills. Um, but as you can see, the saving grace for December was the demand flexibility service. So this is something the National Grid runs. If they're expecting to be a bit tight on supply of electricity, they ask the different suppliers, in my case Octopus, to get their users to try to reduce their usage at set points during the day. Normally this is between 4 and 7 at night, because that's when the peak demand is. And this year, what they've actually allowed you to do is they've also allowed you to export. So by having a battery system, and in my case, I've got a 13.5 kilowatt hour battery system, which is able to import and export at 6 kilowatts. I'm able to export during that, and you can get credit. So the cost, well, the income you get varies. So they did some test sessions through most of December, which you got £2 a kilowatt hour for. They also had 2 live sessions, which I think averaged about £4 a kilowatt hour you got paid. Sadly, the first 2 of those were the 1st and 2nd December, where I didn't actually have my export license yet. So even though I was able to earn a little bit from reducing my demand, I wasn't able to export and actually get paid for those. But even so, as you can see, I made over £70. So that gives me a total December bill of minus £25.76, which going into it, getting solar, I assumed the whole November, December, January, it would be super poor and you would make hardly anything compared to normal. And then in the summers, that's where you would make your money back. In this case, compared to the standard variable rate, which for my area was 27 pence, that would give a bill of just under £90. So actually, for December, I made a saving of £115, which, as you can see, is massively more than you would expect for December. So that's just a quick highlight of how December is going, and I'll see you in January.